Alright, dudes, we are back. We got the data mines here 5 hours ago from Legendary Diamant. Your boy was sleeping like a baby on the job. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this guy. We're going to take a look at his stats and boons and banes, which you can see right here. But more importantly, I want to actually divulge into why I don't like this unit that much. And that might be able to give people a better understanding of my take on this guy, because apparently it was very controversial. It seems like there is a fraction of the community that actually thinks this guy is the tits, and I don't think that to be the case, but at least allow me to explain. So let's start things off with his stat line here. So he's got 40 HP with a Super Bane, he's got 50 attack with a Super Boon, 37 speed with a Super Boon, and then 49 defense with a Bane, and 28 res with a Bane. Overall BST is 204, but that's completely irrelevant. This dude is a legendary hero, so he has the BST increase from his dual skill. So overall, I mean, stat line is pretty good. The Super Boon on speed is nice because that can allow him to make it harder for foes to trigger a natural double. Keep in mind, he's giving frozen support on his weapon, and then he still has the 20-point speed differential addition on his B skill. So you put those two things together, and the opponents need 30 more speed than they normally would in order to actually double this guy, which can come in handy quite a bit. And with the amount of speed that he's got, it's looking like it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world for units to just initiate on him and get double attacks too easily. So he does have protection there, especially against brave attacks. We are in a brave attack meta at the moment where in order for units to like really capitalize on the amount of damage they do, they need to be hitting like 4 or 5 times. So that means Erica Ring and some form of potent anywhere, which is what's been going around right now. So yeah, he has a little bit of protection against that, and then he has a massive amount of damage reduction. Actually, I think Joel was the guy from last night after the trailer who was like really picking on that quite a bit, because he's got a lot of true damage reduction on his weapon, and he's got a lot in his B skill. So you put those two things together, and then Arc Rival, of course, which he has, also gives him further damage reduction on the enemy's first attack. So just a lot of damage reduction on this guy, which I think is what made a lot of people impressed by him. Unfortunately, he still gets folded like a paper crane by Camilla. So I like that. To me, I already knew. I went into it knowing that, yeah, if this guy is tanking Camilla, that's going to be a problem, because that means no one is actually going to be able to kill him. So I wasn't sure, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I don't see this guy being able to tank Camilla. And lo and behold, now that he's released, he doesn't tank Camilla. He's incapable of tanking Camilla. So before we proceed any further, let's actually take a look at his artwork. So here he is. Very good artwork. Actually, I heard a lot of people saying they want to summon just because how good the artwork is. And if that's the case, then I'm definitely down with that. Like, this guy's got some pretty fire artwork here. I love the way that he wields the axe here, and also the way he wields it as his sprite when he's attacking the enemies. It just looks really cool. So yeah, very awesome here from Diamant. His special attack looks really good too. And then finally, even the injured art. Wow, that's really good injured artwork. Damn. Yeah, if you're in the camp that you're just summoning for this guy because his art is so dope, then yeah, you ain't getting no complaints from me about that. So yeah, very, very good stuff from Diamant there. Now let's actually break down his stuff here. So let's take a look at his weapon first. Okay, so for starters, we're just going to count how much DR he gets, which I believe Joel said it was like 75 plus or somewhere in that ballpark. So starting things off, he gets all stats of 14 with the most amount of words possible that Insys can say that. Then he's getting the true damage effect, and then he gets the true DR effect and the true DR effect on specials, which we've seen this going around a lot lately. This is pretty much the same as... It's kind of like Excel built into your weapon in some ways, where you get the true DR on their attacks, and then you get more if they proc a special, and it's 3 times X, which is the number of bonuses effects active on you and the foe, with a max of 5. So had they had no cap there, that actually... I think, like, that's something they could do in the future. Because we have uncapped damage so far. We have it on Baby Camilla. We got it on Hresfelger. And they really didn't want to dip into the basket with that a little too much. Because for obvious reasons. But don't be surprised if one day we see uncapped damage reduction in this form or manner. So, like, that's something we may look forward to. And then by the time that happens, then we're going to have ways to negate non-pierceable DR and negate non-pierceable damage or true damage or whatever you want to call it. So, like that, when we start seeing that uncapped non-pierceable DR, keep in mind that that means the answer to that is right on the horizon. Like, that's the way Insys does things. But regardless, he's got a lot of DR there. He's got some on Arc Rifle, which it's 40% non-pierceable on their first attack and Brave attack. And then on his B skill here, he's got even more. So he's got 25% of his defense, which is a pretty high number if we take a look. Yeah, 49 defense, pretty good. So he's getting 25% of that on their first attack, and then a further 25% on their second strike. So if they're using a Brave attack or Desperation or whatever, your first hit, you've only got 25% of your defense, and the second hit, you got 50% of your defense. So that is a very big number. That's the same amount that Balder gets, except she checks off her speed stat instead of her defense stat. So that is very good. And then, of course, right here, he changes the speed difference necessary for the follow-up by 20 points. And then combo that with him having Frozen as a support on his weapon. Makes it really hard to just double him naturally, but not really. At least in practice. At least in practice against the Abyssal map for him, his legendary hero map. I found it not a problem at all for Camilla to just hit him 5 times. So if that is the case in a situation where he is getting a crazy amount of inflated stats from being a final boss enemy on that map, like that goes to show that it's not going to be that hard to actually like double him, even though seemingly it should be. But units are getting so much speed nowadays on initiation. Like, we have ace skills that'll straight up just give you like 20, 25 points of speed right there, not even counting any of your other passives or even your weapon or anything like that. So, yeah, just all food for thought. But, yeah, overall, the main reason why I don't like this guy so much is because outside of just being a straight-up tank, he doesn't really do anything else. He is giving this support over here. He gives the Bulwark, he gives the Frozen, and he neutralizes allies' penalties in combat, which all those things are okay support, but they're not, like, really meta-defining supports, as we can see here on other tanks that have released, like Burger King, for example. He's a tank. Yes, Camilla can fold him like a paper crane as well, but the support that he's giving is on another level. We have Imbue, and we have Reflex, two of the most meta-defining stat bonuses you can have at the moment. Like, Reflex is literally where units nowadays are getting a majority of their damage. So, yeah, it's really hard to deny this guy. Even if he sucked as a tank, that wouldn't even matter because he's still giving such crazy support that he's already found himself on the team regardless. And then we got the Brave Vector Deer over here, who I think, honestly, like, the way I've seen people react to this guy, I feel like people were sleeping on him, like, really crazy. Yes, once again, Camilla just breaks him in half, but it doesn't really matter when you're doing just the amount of support that this guy does. He gives the Fringe bonus, he's giving you the further +3 to blue stats, combo's really good with Dual Marth. Then he also can turn somebody into a magic save if you need to do that, which magic save isn't really the craziest thing in the world, I will admit, but physical save is, and currently this guy is really the primary choice you're going to run as a physical save, so like that's already really good. Having a tank with a save skill is always going to be better than just having a normal tank that doesn't have save or can't protect your allies. So I've got this guy rated way more highly than Diamant and Burger King as well. I've got both of these save tanks. I've got them ranked way higher than the legendary Diamant that just came out, and that's pretty much why. It's just that, like, tanks come and go as time passes, but support doesn't really age out. Like, you'll be using units with good support forever. For example, Mythic Loki, right? Like, her ability to turn off bonuses, it was always a good thing, but it's only increasing in value as we proceed into the game, as they keep releasing more start turn bonuses. So, like, units like that, Duo Thor, who's not going anywhere, those are the kind of units that have, like, meta-defining abilities, and this guy, he doesn't really have anything like that. So, hopefully this little rant, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, this analysis gives you a little bit more insight into my thoughts on Diamant and what I think his role in the game is going to be. He's going to be a really nice flavor of the month tank, but I don't really foresee this guy lasting too long. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think about him. If you were able to pull him, then let me know how good he has been for you so far and all of that stuff. Maybe he gets a little better. Maybe when Brave Sorin gets his refine, he's given physical save and magic save to allies, and then maybe then we can talk a little bit more about Diamant. But until that time comes, I don't know. It just seems like Sorin's probably just going to stick to giving a sign decoy. But you never know, right? Like, the Brave refines are always pretty sick. So there's no telling what might happen. But yeah, for now, that's my analysis on Diamant. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about him. And I will catch y'all again on the flip side.